Hey guys, how's it going? Today at Pearson Guitars, we have this Suhr. I think this is the first video I've ever made with a Suhr. I've probably only had maybe 2 or 3 of these in my workshop before, but what an absolute pleasure. These guitars are always fantastic to work on. The issue with this particular one, a microphone fell on it and there is a ding on the 12th fret, round about in the just between the D and the G. So I'm going to have to level these frets just to get rid of that ding. And I think that this is a compound radius fretboard. I'm going to have to measure that in a second. I also don't think I've done a video describing how to do the fret leveling on a compound radius fretboard, so that might be this one. We will have to see in a little bit. Cool. I'm going to get the strings off and get the neck off for masking it off. It's Wednesday, my dudes. So I measured what the fingerboard radius was here and what the fingerboard radius is here, and towards the high end it's 16 inches, and towards the first fret it's 12 inches. So it goes from a 12 to a 16 on the end. So that's going to change. So that's going to change the way that I level this fretboard. Picture it like this: a straight radius that is going along exactly the same from the first fret to the last fret. That's going to form a cylinder, but a compound radius will form a cone, which changes the way that I have to actually use the leveling beam. So instead of just going straight along with it, I need to sway the end of it a lot more as I'm going around, just to continue on the cone-like shape rather than a cylinder-like shape. Cool, but let's get to masking it off and then we'll get to the leveling. So I just masked, I've already masked it off. I just used this marker just to draw on the tops of the frets, so that when I come in with the leveling beam I can see where the frets are not level and things like that. So I'm going to just move the camera and then we will start with the leveling. So as I said before, this is not the type of movement I need to be swinging the tail of the leveling beam out, because this is a cone and the cone is getting sharper towards this end and more open towards this end. Yeah. Cool, I'm done with the leveling. I can't remember if I filmed the part with me straightening the neck before I did the fret leveling, but I did. I just used the notched straight edge from StewMac, and now we're going to get to crowning. So as I've said in a couple of videos, a couple of the previous videos, the grit of sandpaper on my leveling beam is 400. So I'm going to start the polishing with 600 grit. This piece is a bit long. I'm going to start the polishing with 600 grit. Yeah, oh, I don't need this anymore. Let's get polishing. And then I have some medium grit steel wool. Then we'll go to 1200 grit. Awesome, and then we've got the 0000 grade steel wool, which is the super fine steel wool. And there we go. Now all that's left is buffing, and that's in the other workshop. I will be back in a second. So what I've started doing with the last few, can't remember where I saw the tip, but it was also another luthier on YouTube. That you apply the steel wool, that you apply the oil directly to the steel wool, and the steel wool just works it into the fingerboard quite nicely. And obviously this was the last grit that I used for fret polishing, so it won't mess up any of the fret polishing. So, and it cleans the fretboard quite nicely. So on this, one of the finest super strat copy, whatever you want to call it, this is probably one of the nicest I've ever seen, except the ones I built, of course, but this neck joint is so tight it's crazy, which is good. I mean, it was fantastic. But now I'm going to start stringing it up, and I've got a set of elixirs. As I've said in previous videos, elixirs are my preferred brand of string. They're great. They're probably some of the best strings commercially available. And they last really long. Cool. I'm going to get the strings through, and then I'll start stringing it up. So this particular guitar has locking tuners, so there's going to be no winding or anything like that. It's just going to be straight through. I just see I've left some finger marks on the frets, and you can see that quite easily when the frets are so shiny. Fantastic. So I've got everything back together and the strings are locked in. I'm going to tune it up now, and then we can see if everything is happy. Okay, let's check some neck relief. Okay, that looks good. I've got my 0.35 millimeter neck relief. Now I can check the action. So on a compound radius fretboard you can go quite a bit lower. So I'm looking for like 1.25 on the low end and 1 millimeter on the high end. It's a bit high. That's almost right on. Okay, I just want to adjust over here a bit. Cool, the action is good now. I'm just going to tune it up again and then we can do intonation. Okay, let's get to pickup height. So I like to do 3 millimeters on the low, 2.5 millimeters on the high. Okay, so now we can do a playthrough, and I'm sure this guitar is going to sound pretty incredible. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. This guitar was an absolute pleasure to work on. What a beast of a guitar. Yeah, not much more to say than that. It's absolutely stunning. If you guys like the video, please click like and subscribe. If you've got any questions, put it in the comments below. Please check me out on Facebook and Instagram. Now this cat is making noise somewhere over there. Hello cat. Yeah, thank you guys again for watching. Have a good one. Cheers. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Ah!